This video is maxed out with information about the future of Greenville. I'm going to keep my introduction brief. I'm David Crum, and I help people buy and sell real estate creatively. My details are below. If you'd like to reach out, I'd love to speak with you. My guest today is Beth Brotherton with the City of Greenville. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself and talk about her role, and then we'll get right into a deep dive on what the city plans for the future of Greenville. If you'd like to contact Beth, her details will be in the description below as well.
Thank you so much for talking with us today, Beth. Can you tell us a little bit about your role here at the city?
Absolutely. So I am the Director of Communications and Engagement. It's a department that's only existed for about 3 years. The city used to operate under a public information model, which was very much just kind of push information out, send out press releases, respond to media questions. And so this is a very different kind of philosophy for how we want to both engage with residents, engage with visitors, and receive feedback. So to me, communication is not only us sending things out, but us receiving, which is the engagement piece, and then also making sure that people understand.
In view of the growth the city's enjoyed and is predicted to come, what plans does the city have to promote development of the city center for residential and commercial use or mixed use? Maybe you would even say redevelopment.
There is no doubt that Greenville is growing. 20+% population increase from 2010 to the 2020 census. And that growth is projected to continue. And so what the city's thinking about is, how do we grow in a balanced way? How do we protect neighborhoods? How do we make sure that we grow smart? And so we put together something called GVL 2040, which is essentially a 20-year comprehensive plan to decide, how does Greenville want to grow? And so we did a lot of community stakeholder engagement. And basically the three things that they came back with were affordable housing, which we know is a huge challenge. As you grow, more people want to move here and live here. And so keeping things affordable is difficult. The second one they came back with was open space, preserving the open areas here in Greenville. And the last one was mobility, both public transit and bikeability, walkability, pedestrian friendly. And so we had these three concepts to build from, and recognize that in order to make those a reality, that we needed to rewrite our development code, essentially the zoning code, which hadn't been rewritten in 15, 20 years.
Greenville is increasingly known as a great foodie city. I mean, people love to eat here.
Yes.
How is the city using this in its economic development?
Absolutely. So we like to be on the lists. One of the most recent ones that we're super proud of is New York Times, 52 places to visit in 2023. And the image that the New York Times used to feature Greenville was a plate of food, which I thought was really neat. And one of the things that I actually learned from them that I didn't know as a resident, that Greenville has over 200 restaurants in the downtown area, and that more than 80% of them are locally owned and not affiliated with a chain in any way, which to me says that we're still doing something right in terms of we are allowing small business owners, entrepreneurs to come in who have a passion for food, a passion for their culture. So I think Greenville has this very entrepreneurial spirit, a spirit of collaboration. And food is one piece of that, where we can share culture, but also allow people to start a business and be successful doing that here in Greenville.
Is the city working with the Verde development area to see it develop into a true hub of commercial use and housing?
So Verde is yet again one of those areas that we would call a small urban center. And so recognizing that one of the things, you'll hear the mayor say this often, that he believes is kind of the secret sauce of Greenville, is this kind of idea of mixed use development, that you can live, work, and play in one area. And so as we talk about the development code and these areas of density where you have people, there's some office space, there's some grocery stores, there's retail, and yet there's neighborhoods and there's parks. Like over near Verde, you've got Legacy Park, which we continue to invest in, a beautiful park with lots of open space. And yet you're seeing a lot of things pop up around there in terms of, cafes and restaurants and small boutique gyms and that sort of thing. And so, yes, Verde, the Legacy Park area is very much one of these small urban centers that we see as a place of development where people can choose to live there and walk or bike to recreation spaces, places to have dinner, but even potentially as a remote worker, have access to the things that they might need, or even, be close enough that they could, the Swamp Rabbit Trail, the Green Line extension.
Beth, tell us more about the extension being added to the Swamp Rabbit Trail in that area.
Yeah, the Swamp Rabbit Trail is yet again a reason why Greenville makes a lot of these best of lists. It is a remarkable mixed use path. We see in the first year that we had a trail counter up between February of 2022 and 2023, we saw 750,000 people use the trail in the Unity Park area. And we're really excited that here in 2023, we're going to extend the Swamp Rabbit Trail. It's already more than 22 miles between Greenville and Travelers Rest. We're now going to take it all the way out to almost essentially the border with Malden.
How does the city view the redevelopment of County Square as affecting the adjacent neighborhoods and commercial areas?
Well, the redevelopment of County Square is recognizing that South Downtown is going to grow. So while the SCDOT, which is the South Carolina Department of Transportation, is doing some repair work on a bridge in the McDaniel area, which I know wouldn't make sense to visitors, but those who live near Cleveland Park will know what I'm talking about. So this has been an 8 to 9 month project for them to redo this bridge. So while that road was closed, the city took the opportunity to undergo a gigantic sewer upgrade project, an infrastructure upgrade project. I know it's not one of those things that people like to talk about, but it's hugely important, particularly as we grow in the South Downtown area, specifically around County Square. So just this idea that the city is taking opportunities to prepare for growth and understand that that area is growing, both through traffic mitigation and doing some infrastructure and sewer upgrades in advance of those things going in.
What does the city hear from newcomers that are the most attractive attributes promoting the current and future growth?
Ooh, wow. So the mayor gets a lot of what he calls love letters to Greenville and shares them with me occasionally. And they're often people who visit from out of town and have, really just been enamored by the city and have taken the time to write a letter and say, we love this, we love that. I would say one of the things we hear most is how clean the city is, particularly the downtown area. We've got an incredible downtown crew that works with Public Works. A couple of guys in particular, Leon, Mr. Leon gets a lot of a lot of love letters. His name is mentioned a lot. So we've got a litter crew and a central business district crew that is so dedicated to keeping our city streets clean and the downtown area just really beautiful and vibrant. So earlier on, we talked about GVL 2040, this vision plan for the future, which the focuses were open space, mobility, and affordable housing. And so how do we keep housing affordable when you have people moving here? There's a couple of different options that we're looking at. One of the things we're working really hard to do is preserve affordable housing. So any opportunity where the city can work with its partners to buy up existing properties. In the past week, we worked with the Greenville Housing Fund to purchase an apartment complex that had been previously owned by a private landlord, and we now own it in the sense that we can control the rent and accept housing vouchers from HUD, which is really important that a lot of landlords do not accept the vouchers and therefore makes, particularly for the lowest of the low income, really challenging for them to afford rising rents. So we can keep the rents down by preserving affordable housing. One of the things we're also doing in the new development code is incentivizing developers that potentially if they want to build a building that is taller or wider, that one of the components to that is that they have to have a percentage of that apartment complex that is affordable housing. So they can essentially buy more height. You can build 2 stories taller if X percentage of that building is dedicated to affordable housing. One of the other things that we've looked at a pilot project on Ridge Road, I think it's called Alston Park. One of the things that we're doing there is the developer looked at, paying into an affordable housing fund or paying into an open space fund that would allow the city to then purchase additional land or property for affordable housing by allowing them to do some different things with their project that only needed sidewalks on the side where people were living. It did not require them as part of the streetscape to build sidewalks on the other side. So in agreement to letting them only do the sidewalks on one side, they then pay into this kind of land bank that helps us purchase more affordable housing, purchase more land. And so there's a lot of different ways through land donation, land purchase, that we recognize housing affordability is a challenge that we face and that so many cities across the country face. And as rents continue to rise, we don't want the idea of the American dream and housing affordability to go away.
Thank you so much for watching today and hearing from Beth Brotherton and what the city has planned for the future here. Please subscribe for more content coming each week. If you'd like to contact me or Beth, our contact details are in the description below. And if you're considering making a move in real estate, I would love to speak with you and see how I could help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.